Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping straight into a moment that really genuinely lit up the world.
Thomas Edison's demonstration, right?
Exactly. His practical incandescent light bulb demo, December 31st, 1879. We've looked at some great material, Smithsonian Magazine, the institution itself, history, Wikipedia, Wired Time.
The good range of sources.
Yeah, all to help us, get a handle on this iconic event. Your mission today isn't just knowing that it happened, but really digging into why this particular demonstration was such a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get to it. What exactly went down that New Year's Eve in Menlo Park, and why are we still talking about it?
That's the perfect place to start. It's almost hard to imagine now, isn't it, with light everywhere?
Right. Just flick a switch.
But back then, understand the impact means looking at what came before.
Absolutely. And this whole idea of electric light, it wasn't like Edison just poof, dreamt it up.
No, definitely not.
We know people like Humphrey Davy, Warren de la Rue, they were experimenting way earlier in the 1800s, electric arcs, getting things to glow.
Impressive stuff for the time, sure.
But, like the sources show, really limited. The light didn't last, it cost a fortune.
Not exactly home lighting material.
No way.
And then there was Joseph Swan over in England. He made a big step with his carbonized paper filament bulb.
Mm-hmm.
But still, major problems keeping that filament going for long enough.
And the vacuum inside the bulb, right.
Yeah.
That was tricky.
Very tricky. Which brings us nicely to Edison's specific goal.
He wasn't just going for any light.
No. He wanted something durable, affordable, and safe. Safe enough for regular homes.
Seems simple now, but the work involved. Wow. The material suggests that starting in '78, he and his Menlo Park team were just systematically testing thousands of materials.
Thousands. Trying to find that perfect filament.
Yeah.
And constantly working on the vacuum tech, too.
Why was the vacuum so critical?
Well, think about it. Oxygen is the enemy of a super hot filament. It just burns it up.
Okay.
A good vacuum gets rid of most of the oxygen, so the filament lasts much, much longer, like starving a fire air.
Right. Makes sense. And all that testing, it finally worked.
It did.
The info points to October 21st, 1879, a real breakthrough moment.
Mm-hmm. The bamboo filament.
Yeah, a carbonized bamboo filament burned for over 13 hours.
13 hours. Doesn't sound like much to us, maybe.
But back then, huge.
Absolutely massive. And that success gave him the confidence for the big public demo on New Year's Eve.
So picture this, Menlo Park, his lab. 40 glowing bulbs lighting the place up.
It must have been incredible. The sources really convey it wasn't just about seeing light.
It was like seeing the future.
Exactly. It showed everyone, okay, this electric lighting thing, it's real, it's viable.
It's so easy, though, isn't it, to just think light bulb and stop there?
But it was so much more.
Yeah, the bulb was just one piece. Edison was thinking bigger about the whole system.
The entire electrical ecosystem, as you said earlier.
Generators to make the power, wiring to move it.
Switches to control it.
He was building it all.
And that system thinking is key. Because the light bulb alone, well, it wouldn't have changed much.
Right.
It needed that whole infrastructure to actually get into homes and businesses.
Yeah.
Which leads to Pearl Street Station.
New York City, 1882, the first commercial power plant.
That's when it really started moving beyond the lab. That's the game changer for widespread adoption.
And once that happened, the changes were just massive, weren't they?
Profound.
I mean, the sources talk about extending productive hours, factories running longer, shops open later.
And safety. Getting rid of those risky gas and oil lamps.
Huge improvement. Plus economic growth, how cities even developed.
It changed the rhythm of life. Think about being able to work, socialize, do things after dark easily. It fundamentally altered our relationship with time itself.
A massive shift, which kind of makes you think about that whole invention question again.
Mm-hmm. Because he wasn't working in a total vacuum, creatively speaking.
No, he built on what others had done, which leads to that classic question. Did Edison invent the light bulb?
It's complicated, right?
Yeah, the sources are clear. People like Swan, de la Rue. They made big contributions first. So what made Edison's different? Was it just marketing?
Well, it's partly about that difference between invention and innovation.
Okay, explain that.
Others had invented electric lights, sure. But Edison's real genius was taking those concepts, refining them, making them practical, reliable.
And marketable.
And marketable, exactly. Plus, building the entire system around the bulb. That comprehensive approach was crucial.
So, innovation over pure invention, making it work for the real world.
Precisely. making it a viable product and service, not just a laboratory curiosity.
Okay, that really helps clarify it. But it wasn't all smooth sailing, was it? The path wasn't clear.
Definitely not. Our sources mentioned the legal fights.
Patent disputes.
Oh, yeah. People like William Sawyer challenged his patents, claiming his design wasn't entirely original.
So legal battles were happening.
Pretty common back then, with so much happening technologically, lots of overlapping work.
And how did things shake out? Like with Swan, for instance. That was an interesting case.
It was. Instead of just battling it out in court indefinitely.
Which could have dragged on for ages.
Right. They eventually formed a partnership. The Edison and Swan United Electric Light Company.
So they merged their interests, their technologies.
Kind of, yeah. Combined forces, it resolved the conflict and actually helped push electric lighting forward more quickly.
That's actually a really good lesson there. Collaboration sometimes beats conflict in the innovation game.
It certainly can. And thinking more broadly, there are other big takeaways from Edison's whole story, aren't there?
Definitely. The sources really hit on a few key themes. Sheer perseverance.
That relentless testing, thousands of materials, it just screams, don't give up.
And iterative improvement. Keep trying, keep tweaking, learn from the failures.
You need resilience in that process. You will hit roadblocks.
Absolutely. It's about how you respond.
Right, exactly. And another crucial point the sources make. This wasn't a solo act.
Right. Menlo Park was a team effort, an invention factory.
Yeah, it's easy to focus on the great man, but innovation is often collaborative. Recognizing the team's contribution is vital.
100%. So let's try and sum up the key points from this deep dive.
Okay.
Edison's 1879 demo, hugely important moment, but it built on earlier work.
Definitely. And the impact went way beyond just the bulb it needed, that whole electrical system.
And it wasn't simple, led to legal fights, questions of credit.
Which highlights that innovation is often this messy, iterative, collaborative process.
Yeah, persistence, systems thinking, teamwork.
And maybe even a bit of strategic collaboration with Swan.
Right. It really makes you think, doesn't it? With the pace of change today,
Mm-hmm.
what are the next world-changing technologies coming down the pike? And what can Edison's story, the good, the bad, complicated, teach us about developing them responsibly?
That's a great question to leave people with. The ethical side, the collaboration, the sheer effort required, it's all still relevant.
Absolutely. Something to mull over. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.